Today we're going to discuss how we describe position. Position is the location of a place or object. So position refers to the location of a place or object. And position has to be measured from what we call a reference point. Alright, and a reference point is an object or a landmark from which we describe the position of another object. Alright, so for instance, we might say Suffolk Middle School. Suffolk Middle School is 1 mile north of Indian Rock. So the reference point is Indian Rock. Okay? And when choosing a reference point, it's really beneficial to choose something that's not going to move. Because if you say Suffolk Middle School is one mile from Mr. Sullivan's car, and then I go get in my car and move my car, you'll have no idea where Suffolk Middle School is. Okay? So there are different types of reference points, like reference points of stationary objects or large landmarks, or a system of coordinates that has been established, such as longitude and latitude. Okay? Well, what the heck is that? Well, latitude is based on position with regard to the equator. Okay? The equator. Oops. So latitudes are how many degrees north or south of the equator an object is. Okay? So they're measured in degrees north or degrees south of the equator. Okay, one of the ways I remember that is that latitude is very similar in as far as the spelling is concerned as altitude. And if you look at the first 3 letters, I know that altitude means how high or low something is. All right? So altitude and latitude, I remember, go up and down. And with that, knowing that, we can then say that longitude goes from east to west. So it's how many degrees off of what we call the prime meridian an object is. So position meaning how many degrees west longitude, degrees west long, let me write that here, west longitude, or east longitude off of the prime meridian. Okay, so the prime meridian goes from pole to pole, from North Pole to South Pole, but you measure east and west how far off of that line you are. The equator goes right around the middle of the Earth, okay, and you measure how many degrees above it north that you are, or below it south you are. So for instance, if we were using the latitude and longitude coordinate system, we would say that Suffern is 41 degrees north, and 74 degrees west. So you have 41 degrees north latitude and 74 degrees west longitude. And if you use the coordinate system, you would find that that's where Suffern is located. Or you could use a distance and direction method. So for instance, you might say that Suffern is 35 miles north or northwest, slightly northwest of New York City. New York City being the reference point. The reference point in the coordinate system being longitude and latitude. Okay? So position is the location of a place or object, and it is measured from a reference point. What is a reference point then? We say, well, why are reference points important? Well, reference points are important because they help us describe the position. They help us describe the position of objects. Okay? So a reference point is actually a location to which other objects or another locations are compared. A location, or I should say, or object, to which other objects or locations are compared. Okay, and I gave you the example of Suffolk Middle School in Indian Rock before, but we could also use Suffolk Middle School. Again, we'll say Suffolk Middle School is about 2.5 miles southwest of Suffern High School. So in this example, Suffern High School would be your reference point. Okay, so you're going to use one object to describe the location of another object, or you could use a location, such as if we were going to say the latitude and longitude system. All right. Now, distance would be a change in that position. So the distance an object is from one place to another is how far it is from that reference point. Okay? So distance would be a measurement how far one object or location is compared to your reference point. The reference point, whatever that reference point is, the reference point you choose. Okay? Alright, and that's basically what we're going to discuss for right now. That will cover part of the first portion of physics, and we're going to go on to our next lesson. If you have any questions, please write them down. Come see me. Let's please discuss it. If you have any questions, please add that to your WILT each day. All right, and we can discuss it in class as we do labs and you do your activities. Please ask us questions, okay?